All right, I'm gonna these problems are gonna be on a quiz that you're gonna be taking pretty soon. So this is half of the quiz that I'm doing right now. Okay. Um, it says that the Venn diagram represents the relationship between integers and whole numbers. So we're looking at just the integers and the whole numbers. That's it. It says which number would be an element of the set of integers but not an element of the set of whole numbers. So if I look at my numbers given, I know the whole numbers, these guys are from 0 and then all the positives. Okay, so 0 and then this way. Okay, 0 to infinity, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the whole numbers. Integers are everything there, but also -1, -2, -3. Okay, those are all the integers. Nowhere do you see a fraction or a decimal because they're not part of either the integers nor the whole number. Okay, so no fraction, no decimals here. So if you see a fraction or decimal, well, we can maybe cancel it out because let's read the question first. Which number would be an element of the set? Okay, so you want to be an element of the set of integers, but not an element of the set of whole numbers. So one of these numbers is part of the integers, in other words, this whole group, but not an element of the set of whole numbers. That means he's not on this side. That means he can't be one of these over here because he's not a whole number. He's an integer. That means these are integers, yes, but from 0 and to the right are whole numbers. So what it's saying is that you need to pick an integer, but only from the left side of 0. So if I look here, 0 is a whole number. So we don't want that because it's not an element of the set of whole numbers. Cancel. 5 is positive 5. Again, we don't want a whole number. This is a half. I told you before. There's no negatives here. I'm sorry, there's no fractions or decimals here. And so -3 is the only answer that can be fit because -3 is an integer and it's not part of the whole number family because it's a negative answer or negative number. Let's look at the second one there. Number 2. Set A is not a subset, okay, of which set of numbers, okay? So subset means below. So what group of numbers is this? Well, it could be accounting numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but because it includes the digit of 0, then it's not a counting number group. It's actually the next, the whole number. So this is part of the whole numbers. Okay, the whole numbers. This group here, this set of numbers is part of the whole number set. So the whole number set. Okay, so it says there, set A is this, which is the whole number set. Set A is not a subset of which set of numbers. That means he is not below which set of numbers. Okay, so that means that you need to pick the one that is smaller than him because below means less. So the whole numbers are not below one of these. Okay, rational numbers includes fraction and decimals and percents, but whole numbers don't have fractions nor decimals. So it can't be this one because this group is a lot bigger. We want something that is smaller than this one because it says not a subset. That means below. So you're looking for a smaller group than this one, than the whole number system or whole number set system. Integers again. Integers, I wrote a few here. These are the whole numbers from 0 to the right. Well, the integers are 0 to the right and also 0 to the left. So that means that there's more numbers in the integer set of numbers. So we're not looking for a bigger group, we're looking for a smaller group. Whole numbers is actually this set here. So it can't be the same because if you're below, you're not equal to it, and this one is equal to that. The only one it is the counting numbers because the counting numbers are like the whole number set except they don't include the digit of 0. So here, no digit of 0. So you just have here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc., etc. So that means that 0 is missing. That means that this group is smaller than the whole number system. That's why this is not a subset of this. In fact, it's the other way around. Counting numbers is a subset of the whole numbers because whole numbers has one extra digit than the counting. Okay, so the answer is J. Okay, number 3 says, which of the following set contains an element that cannot be classified as a rational number? So rational numbers, okay, has the word ratio. Okay, ratio is a fancy word for fraction. Okay, so that means rational numbers can be fractions. Well, that means if they can be fractions, they can be decimals. Okay, because 1/2 is a fraction. Well, 1/2 can be represented as a decimal as 0.5. So it has fractions and decimals. It also has mixed numbers because that's like a decimal.
Destiny Perez, please report to the front office. Destiny Perez, report to the front office.
So it could have decimals, fractions, anything like that is a rational number. You can have 0/3, 0/8, 0/5. Those all equal 0, okay? And 0 is a rational number. And so the only one there that does not make sense is this one, 9/0, which is in the letter C. It is impossible to divide 9 divided by 0. Okay, you can have a 0 as your numerator, but you can never have a 0 as a denominator. Okay, because the definition of a fraction, this here, definition of a fraction is, okay, as long as it's A/B, with one restriction that B cannot equal 0. Okay, that is what a fraction is. So you can have A/B as long as B does not equal 0. And so once B equals 0, then it's not a fraction anymore. Okay, it says, what we call I can't remember the correct word off my head, but it's just not possible. It's not doable, okay? Undefined is the word I was thinking about. So this is what we call undefined. And so the answer would be C. Number 4, it says, if a number is a member of the set of integers, then it must also be a member of which other set? So think, integers have the negative numbers. Does counting have negatives? No. Does whole numbers have negatives? No. There's no negatives in the whole numbers or counting numbers. And let's make sure I get the question correctly. Let's see. If a number is a member of the set of integers, then it must also be a member of which other set? And as you can see, yes. So counting numbers don't have negatives. So just because you're an integer doesn't mean you're also part of you're a counting number. And so just because you're an integer doesn't mean you're always going to be a whole number. Okay, integer again, you're not always going to be a counting number. Sometimes you're a counting number, sometimes you're a whole number. But if you're part of the integers, you're always going to be part of the rational numbers. Okay, so remember this, integers, if you're a member of the integers, you're also a member of the rational numbers. Okay, just because you're an integer, you're not always a member of the counting number. You're sometimes. When it's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's integers, but those are counting numbers, but that's only sometimes. Integers, whole numbers, you're in both. If you're 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you're a whole number and an integer. But integers are also the negatives. So that's why this is sometimes and sometimes, but this one is always. So if you're an integer, you're always part of the rational number. That's it. Okay. And one more here, which is probably the easiest one. Your set of numbers, of course, the bigger circle, the bigger number system, there's more numbers. When you learned as a kid, you learned that this was your counting numbers. You learned that the next group was the whole numbers, okay? And then the integers and then the rational numbers. Let me put the whole word, rational numbers. So this is how it should be, the small group counting numbers, because that's you first learned, then the whole numbers, integers, and then rational numbers. Counting numbers are just number 1, 2, those numbers. These are the same as those, except they include the digit of 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, you know, all those other numbers. Integers are the same as this, everything here. And so this would be, besides that, you have the negatives. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay. These two guys are subsets of the integers because they're smaller, they're below it. Rational numbers are everything you see there. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, but they're also the decimals, the fractions, okay, and percents, and some square roots, the perfect square roots. Okay, so hopefully this helps you. Remember, this is going to be half of the quiz, then half of the quiz. That's coming up next week. And I'll see you later. Adios. Bye-bye.